everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to Fun and Friends. I am Avalon.
I'm Sabrina.
And welcome to our channel and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. So we have a huge announcement today. We are taking a break from our last book because Jasmine needs a break, and it's kind of a long series. We're just taking a break right now, but we picked a new book that we're going to start
In the meantime,
and
you
it's
guys ready
exciting.
for it? You ready?
Yay! Ta-da!
Thrones of Glass by Sarah J. Maas.
Yes.
I will read you the back before we get started with chapter 1 today, which is kind of our Christmas present to you.
Merry Christmas.
In a world without magic, an assassin is summoned to a castle. She comes not to kill the vicious king who rules from his throne of glass, but to win her freedom. She defeats 23 killers, thieves, and warriors in a competition. She'll be released from prison to serve the king's champion. Her name is, I want to say Selena Sardothinian. The crown prince will provoke her, the captain of the guard will protect her, and a princess from a faraway land will befriend her. But something evil dwells in the castle, and it's there to kill. When her competitors start dying one by one, Selena fights for freedom because Selena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival and a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys her world.
How exciting. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing, which is a lot of like wizardry
and
magic.
This is more adult, so if you are not over the age of 18,
do not listen to this book series. Do not.
Wait for us to come back.
Yeah.
This is definitely 18 plus.
Adult.
So, yes.
All right, so we're going to jump into chapter 1. Neither of us have read this book. Right?
Yeah, so this is kind of a different this is kind of a different than how it's been in the past, where I have read the book before, but I'm reading it to her for the first time to get her reaction. This time it'll be both of our reactions, so we'll have a little bit more commentary, hopefully, and I'm excited to see what you guys say too.
Let us know what you think of chapter 1 so far, maybe some predictions, I don't know, commentary. We would love to chit chat with you guys. Also, follow us on our Instagram page of Fun and Friends, where we will have more updates with the book and us in general. And you can get to know us a little bit better on that side of our social media.
In the works. We're going to be working on making a TikTok channel eventually.
Yes, eventually.
So we can join Book Talk.
We'll make an announcement video when we officially upload our TikTok channel, but stay tuned for that. And we're almost at 100 subscribers. So when we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to have a
giveaway.
Yay! So keep subscribing to us, keep commenting to us, and we love it. All right, I think we're ready for chapter 1.
I think so too.
I'm ready.
It's got a
It's
really cool.
pretty. Ooh, show them the map.
Oh, there's like a map of the whole.
It's really pretty.
The whole continent. It reminds me a lot of Shadow and Bone, where they have like the continent beforehand, or Aragon.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good for us to like keep track of where they're going if they're like traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 1. After a year of slavery in the salt mines of Endover, Selena Salathine was accustomed to being escorted everywhere in shackles and at sword point. Most of the thousands of slaves in Endover received similar treatment, though extra half-dozen guards always walked Selena to and from the mines. That was expected by Adorland's most notorious assassin. There's going to be a lot of names in here that's going to be really hard to pronounce.
So bear with us.
I will figure it out. What she did not usually expect, however, was a hooded man in black at her side, as there was now. He gripped her arm and led her through the shining building in which most of Endover's officials and overseers were housed. They strode down corridors, up flights of stairs, and around until they had the slightest chance of finding her way out again. At least that was her escort's intention, because she hadn't failed to notice that when they went up and down the same staircase within a matter of minutes, nor had she missed when they zigzagged through levels, even though the building was a standard grid of hallways and stairwells.
That sounds like a maze.
Well, they were trying to confuse her.
Yeah, true.
You will not escape. As if she'd lose her bearings that easily. She might have been insulted if he hadn't been trying so hard. They entered a particularly long hallway, silent save for the footsteps. Though the man grasping her arm was tall and fit, she could see nothing of his features concealed beneath his hood. Another tactic meant to confuse and intimidate her. The black clothes were probably a part of it, too. His head shifted in her direction, and Selena flashed him a grin. He looked forward again, his iron grip tightening. It was flattering, she supposed, even if she didn't know what was happening, or why he'd been waiting for her outside the mine shaft. After a day of cleaving rock salt from the innards of a mountain, finding him standing there with 6 guards hadn't improved her mood. But her ears had pricked when he'd introduced herself to the overseer of Chow Westfall, captain of the Royal Guard, and suddenly the sky loomed. The mountains pushed from behind, and even the earth swelled beneath her toward her feet. She hadn't tasted fear for a while, hadn't let herself taste fear. When she awoke every morning, she repeated the same words, "I will not be afraid." For a year, those words had meant the difference between breaking and bending. They kept her from shattering in the darkness of the mines. Not that she'd let the captain know any of that. Selena examined the gloved hand holding her arm. The dark leather almost matched the dirt on her skin. She adjusted her torn and filthy tunic with her free hand and held in her sigh. Entering the mines before sunrise and departing after dusk, she rarely glimpsed the sun. She was frighteningly pale from the dirt. It was true that she had been attractive once, beautiful even, but what did it matter now? Did it? They turned down another hallway and studied the stranger's finely crafted sword. Its shimmering pommel was shaped like an eagle mid-flight. Noticing her glare, Noticing her stare, his gloved hand descended to rest upon its golden head. Another smile tugged at the corners of her lips. You're a long way from Rithold, Captain, she said, clearing her throat. Did you come with the army I heard thumping around earlier? She peered into the darkness beneath his hood, but saw nothing. Still, she felt the eyes upon her face, judging, weighing, testing. She stared right back. The captain of the Royal Guard had been an interesting opponent, maybe even worthy of some effort on her part. Finally, the man raised his sword hand, and the folds of his cloak fell to conceal the blade. As the cloak shifted, she spied the gold wyvern embroidered on his tunic, the royal seal. What do you care for the armies of Andalor, Anne? He replied. How lovely it was to hear her voice. Oh my gosh, I cannot read today. Too much of a break. That's what happens when my brain slows down. How lovely it was to hear a voice like her own, cool and articulate, even if he was a nasty brute. Nothing, she said, shrugging. He let out a low growl of annoyance. Oh, it would be nice to see his blood spilled across the marble. She lost her temper once before, once when an overseer chose the wrong day to push her too hard. She still remembered the feeling of embedding that pickaxe into his gut and the stickiness of the blood in her hands and her face.
I don't blame her for envisioning that, because she is held captive and they have been kind of torturing her a little bit. So I mean,
if you're working in a mine all day and somebody's being like...
Nasty. You might think of those things.
She could disarm 2 of the guards in a heartbeat. Would the captain fare better than the last overseer? Contemplating the potential outcomes, she grinned at him again. Don't you look at me like that, he warned, and his hand drifted back towards the sword. Selena hid her smirk this time. They passed a series of wooden doors, as she'd seen a few minutes ago. If she'd wanted to escape, she simply had to turn left in the next hallway and take the stairs down 3 flights. The only thing all the intended disorientation had accomplished was to familiarize her with the building. Idiots. Where are we going again? She said sweetly, brushing a strand of her matted hair from her face. When she didn't reply, she clenched her jaw. The halls echoed too loudly for her to attack him without alerting the whole building. She hadn't seen where he put the key to her irons, and the 6 guards who trailed them would be nuisances. Not to mention the shackles. They entered a hallway hung with iron chandeliers. Outside the windows lined... yeah, cozy. Outside the windows lining the wall, night had fallen. Lanterns kindled so bright they offered a few shadows to hide in. From the courtyard, she could hear the other slaves shuffling towards the wooden building where they slept. The moans of agony against the clank of chains made a chorus of familiar as the weary, dreary work songs they sang all day. I've been working on the railroad.
I remember, yeah. Remember how they embedded that into us in, like, elementary school?
Yep.
Those songs to sing.
That's what I'm envisioning.
Yeah.
But, like, a sad version. I've been working in the mines.
I can see that, yes.
The occasional solo of the whip added to the symphony of brutality Andalorian had created for the greatest criminals, poorest citizens, and latest conquests. While some of the prisoners were accused of attempting to practice magic, not that they could, given the magic had vanished from the kingdom, these days more and more rebels arrived in Endover.
You know what I was envisioning? Sorry for commentary. The movie Harriet. If anybody's seen Harriet on Amazon Prime, I watched it and it's really good. You should watch it. I recommend it. But it reminded me when Harriet and all of her family are in the fields and they're singing to each other, and just how their songs were actual communications with each other because they're just so worn down and they couldn't really talk to each other, and that's how they communicated, was through song.
Aww.
So yeah. Anyways, that's my
so
tidbit. It is sad.
Well, I think I remember that. Most were from Eloise, one of the last countries still fighting Andalorian's rule. But when she pestered them for news, most just stared at her with empty eyes, already broken. She shuddered to consider what they had endured at the hands of Andalorian forces. Some days she wondered if they were better off dying on the butchering blocks instead.
That's sad that you're at the point where you would rather almost be dead than keep continuing to live because you're in such brutal conditions.
Yeah.
That's like
so
really sad.
Apparently they haven't broken her, though, because she's still like,
I got this.
I got this. If I wanted to, I could take you down.
Do it. You go, girl.
And if she might have been better off dying that night, she'd been betrayed and captured too. And she had other things to think about as they continued their walk. Was she finally to be hanged? Sickness coiled in her stomach. This was important enough to warrant the execution from a captain of the Royal Guard himself, but why bring her inside this building first? At last, they stopped before a set of red and gold glass doors so thick that she couldn't see through them. Captain Westfall jerked his chin at the two guards standing on either side of the doors, and they stomped their spears in greeting. The captain's grip tightened until it hurt. She yanked Selena closer, but her feet seemed to be made of lead as she pulled against them. You'd rather stay in the mines? He asked, sounding faintly amused. Perhaps, if I were told what this was all about, I wouldn't feel so inclined to resist. You'll find out soon enough. Her palms became sweaty. Yes, she was going to die. It had come at last.
It is here. Today's the day.
Today's the day. The doors groaned to reveal a throne room. A glass chandelier shaped like a grapevine occupied most of the ceiling, spitting seeds of diamond fire into the windows along the far side of the room. Compared to the bleakness outside the windows, the opulence felt like a slap to the face, a reminder of how much they'd profited from her labor. In here, the captain of the guard growled and shoved her with his free hand, finally releasing her. Selena stumbled, her calloused feet slipping on the smooth floor as she straightened herself up. She looked back and forth to see 6 guards appear. 14 guards plus a captain. The gold royal emblem embroidered on the breast of black uniforms. These were members of the royal family's personal guard. Ruthless, lightning-swift soldiers trained from birth to protect and kill. She swallowed tightly. Lightheaded, immediately heavy all at once, Selena faced the room. On an ornate redwood throne sat a handsome young man.
Handsome young man. Dun, dun, dun. Some foreshadowing.
He's handsome.
Handsome. And young. Mm-hmm. Usually they're old.
Her heart stopped as everyone bowed. She was standing in front of the crown prince of Andalorian.
Anderlan.
Anderlan? I was calling it Andalorian. Andalorian. I'm thinking Mandalorian.
Yeah. All right, well, that was chapter 1. I'm excited to see her personality grow. Like, we get to see more of her personality. I feel like she's very
sassy.
Yeah, and very independent. And I got this. Like, I don't need you type of thing. I feel it might be a little bit of a Beauty and the Beast type of thing. Like,
I'm
relationship.
I'm thinking enemies to lovers vibe.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I'm getting, especially with her saying he was a handsome
young
man sitting on the throne.
throne.
But obviously she doesn't like him because he's
profiting off of her slave labor.
Yeah. So I'm thinking enemies to lovers.
Yeah. I definitely think she's going to put a fight. I think that this prince will probably be more attracted to her and fall in love with her first before she does with him. If it goes down that route, because I think she has a lot of resentment built up from his family and him, rightfully so.
Well, and especially because she's seeing all of these broken people coming in, and she's talking about how, like, she's hoping that this last little outpost doesn't fall.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, she's not a huge fan of this kingdom.
Yeah. She does not like this kingdom.
I'm interested about how she was betrayed, her backstory about how she landed there, because it said the night that she was there, not only was she captured, but she was also betrayed. So who is she betrayed by? Like, did she have a partner?
Was it her, like, mom and dad, like, or her sister, or
like what happened there? I want to know. This is a good, like...
Good start.
Good start. It definitely captured my attention.
We're thrown in the middle of chaos right now, which I like stories like that, because then you get to try and figure out, like, why did they get there? What is their purpose? And kind of what is their personality? Like, how are they going to handle all of these things that are going to be thrown at them?
Well, Sarah J. Maas is really good about that. I've been working on the... her other series, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh my gosh, I love it. You still got to read that.
I have the book. I just haven't
read
it yet because I've been so busy with school. But now I have a little bit of break time. I can actually start it.
Think adult Beauty and the Beast, and then and then that's where you're at. Definitely adult though. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't know if it's got similar vibes to the Court of Thorn and Rose series, where it's all kind of based loosely on something. So, like, Court of Thorns and Roses, each of the books are based on a different fairy tale. So I don't know if that is going to play into this
one, or if it's a complete separate genre on it.
Yeah, I'm wondering how, if or how she would do that if she did this in this book.
It'd be interesting if she does.
It would be.
Because it'd be...
I just don't know if it would be fairy tales specifically,
right? Because
of the fact that she's an assassin. There's not very many assassin and fairy tales out there. But yeah, I'm definitely excited about that and to see where it's gonna go.
I'm really excited about this. Well, put your comments down below, your predictions down below. Let us know what you think is gonna happen or what you're most excited about with this new book that we have for you guys. And we hope that you guys have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year's. Be safe. We will see you all in the new year. Bye, guys.